families. Welcome to the 2019-2020 school year. I wanted to show you a few things that you have access to this year that can help you be even more involved and on top of how your child is doing in school. So the first of those is our district website, audiprep.com. You can find a whole lot of resources on this site, so I encourage you to check it out. For the purposes of this video, I want to show you a tour of ParentVue. So I'm going to show you how to access that from this site. So one of the things you want to do first is click on campuses, and then you'll go to our junior high campus. And there's a lot of information on here that I'll let you scroll through at your own time. However, to find the link for ParentVue or StudentVue, it is down here in the bottom, so you can click on that. And then, of course, you can access it as well as your students, so they can check their own grades. We always like them to take responsibility for their own learning, and so every student starting in 6th grade has access to their own StudentVue account. So as a parent, you're going to go in on your end and log in, and it'll pull up a page that'll list all of your students at the schools. These are my children, so I have my kids on here. You can scroll down and see all of them. But for the purposes of today's video, I'm going to show you what the junior high can expect to see. So to be able to navigate between your kids, you can go up here. Whichever child is showing up here, when you click on these links, that's the child that you're going to get the information for. So for the purposes of our video today, I'm going to change over to my junior high student, Isaac. So to be able to see all of the information on ParentVue, I'm going to show you a couple of things. This menu on the left-hand side of your screen has a wealth of information. So there's a few things I want to show you on this site. First, you can check your child's attendance. We should see that my son hasn't missed any days, but you can see which classes your students have attendance for, or if they're absent or tardy, those will show up over here. This can be helpful just to make sure that all of your child's attendance is being reported correctly, and you can check to see, is your child getting to class on time. In junior high, teachers do take attendance every class period, so if they are tardy to classes throughout the day, if they are tardy to more than 3 classes in a semester for that same class, let's say math, then they could receive a referral for that. We do want them to get to class on time, so this is kind of where you can keep track of that for your scholar. If you also want to see your scholar's class schedule, you can access that here. The great part about this feature is here's where you can get your child's teacher's email addresses. So you can click on those and email your child's teacher. Another really helpful website part of this site is their class websites. Every teacher has a class website, and this is where they'll upload all the information for their class. So our scholars keep their binders in the classroom. They don't go home. Thank you for all of those of you that donated those at the beginning of the year. So for you to be able to stay involved and see what your child's doing in class, since they won't be bringing a lot of papers home, this will be a very useful tool for you. So you can see it's in order by their schedule. So my son happens to have PE first, so you see Mr. Snyder's information here. These are updated weekly. So you'll see, the teachers will also upload resources for you if you want to see how they're being graded. If your child is absent, they can access the work here. You don't have to ask your child's teacher to send home all their work. You have it at your fingertips right here. And you can go through and see all of your child's teacher's information. So this is his language arts class. I can see what they're working on that week, and I can see an example of what that should look like for my child. I'm going to open that up. There we go. That's one of his assignments. So this is a really great resource for you to be able to stay involved and see what your child's doing in class. And like I said, if your child is absent, this is where you would go to find that work that they're going to miss. Another very valuable tool here is if you want to check on your child's discipline, or if you just want to see, let's say your child does happen to get a referral, all of that information would be listed here for you to be able to see. Any fees you need to pay are listed here as well. Any visits your child makes to the nurse will be entered here. So there's a wealth of information. Please check out all of these links. because it will have a lot of useful information. For example, if you want to see any of your child's past report cards, they're all here and available for you in the document section. But for now, I want to focus on the grade book because that has a lot of helpful information for you as well. So when you go visit your child's grade book, you're going to see the classes again in the order that they have them throughout the day. Anything that is blue is something that can be clicked on and is a link. So again, you can click on this specific class. I can email their teacher. I can see a variety of sources. So I'm going to go into one of their classes and see. They may not have a lot of grades yet, which is okay. So here I see a teacher has entered a grade. One of the most important things for you to do when you are looking at your child's gradebook is going to make sure you're looking at the correct view. For example, up here we have two different views. We have assignment view and standards view. We grade using standards. So the very first thing you're going to want to do after you click on a class is click on the standards view so you can see their grade correctly. So what that does is that shows you what grade they're earning out of the rubric score. And please keep in mind that here's a brief description of what those rubrics are, but I've attached to the newsletter a more specific description. It is not out of 8, so just keep that in mind. That's the biggest misconception. Sometimes our parents will become concerned if they see 4 out of 8 because they equate that to a 50%. That is not the case. That is actually showing mastery. So just keep that in mind. But this will show how they're doing in for that standard. This is the standard, so outlining their scientific knowledge. If I click on that, I can see what assignment was used to assess that. And throughout the year, obviously, there will be a lot more assignments under here. So if I want to see more information about that assignment, I can click on that assignment itself and see what the scholars were doing on this assignment. Just get more information. So if I go back to the gradebook overall, again, I can see any of their classes that I would like. Many right now are not going to have grades, and that's okay. You should start to see those getting updated soon. Again, when I click on a new class, you'll notice I have to go back up here to that corner and click on Standards View again. That's going to be really, really important. So I'm seeing that this is what the skill that they were working on this week. If I click on that, I can see the assignment. I can click on that and see how they're doing on that specific assignment. So a lot of these gradebook resources are extremely helpful, but it's just important. I would recommend with my family, we check on Friday and see how students are doing. Remember that if a student is doing poorly in a class, they have a few options. So one, if they have missing assignments, they can use what we call academic overtime. So they can stay after school from 4 to 5 o'clock and work on assignments. Another option is scholars do have the option to redo assignments that they do poorly. So if your scholar is interested in redoing an assignment, they would need to contact their teacher and set that up. Typically, because 4 is a mastery, we ask that scholars only redo assignments that they score below mastery on, so 3 or lower. If they've achieved mastery, then there's no need for them to redo that assignment. So there is, like I said, a lot of very helpful information on here. You can see some of their assignments that are already in the gradebook. You can see upcoming assignments that are in the gradebook but not yet due, so you won't see the grade yet. So there is a ton of helpful information. I do recommend that you check this often, but also check it with your student. Involve them. This is their responsibility. So if you see a grade that you don't necessarily think that they could maybe do better on, it's your scholar's job to email their teacher, reach out, see what they can do to improve that. Junior high is a big shift for them to become more independent, so that'll be really helpful. As always, if you have any questions, please reach out to us anytime and enjoy your school year.